student at home. Welcome to this class. Today we are going to having physics, and the topic will be reflection of light by a curved mirror. By the end of the lesson, you can be able to define two types of curved mirror. You can be able to illustrate with diagram the nature and the position of images formed by a curved mirror. You can equally be able to know some applications of curved mirror. But before we proceed, I want to remind us or take our minds back on what we discussed in our previous class. We discussed about some properties of images formed by a plane mirror, which include the image must be of the same size by the object, which means that the magnification will be 1. Another one is here, image distance from the mirror must be equal to the object distance in front of the mirror. The image must be visual, the image must be erect, and these are the properties of images formed by a plane mirror. And we also find the formula for calculating the number of images formed when two plane mirrors are inclined at different angle, which we use n equals to 360 divided by theta minus 1, where the theta is the angle of inclination. So today we are going to talk about the images formed by a curved mirror. Apart from a plane mirror, curved mirror can also reflect images incident on them. We have two types of curved mirror. We have concave mirror. We don't call it concave mirror, we call it a converging mirror. We also have what? Convex mirror. We don't call it convex mirror, we call it what? Diverging mirror. For a concave mirror, the reflecting surface of the mirror curved inward, like the inside of the spool. Like I said, this spherical mirror can assume to be a kind of part of a sphere. For example, this is the concave mirror. If you see that this is the reflecting surface of the mirror, and it curves what? Inward. This is the reflecting surface of the mirror. While this one is the saber surface. This one here is what? Is the convex mirror, which is the what? Diverging mirror. You can see that the reflecting surface forges what? Outwards. So these are the two main type of what? Curved mirror, which we are going to discuss today. This curved mirror have different essential parts. There are different essential parts of the mirror. One of them is what we call the what? The aperture. The aperture of the mirror. The aperture of the mirror is the width, AB, of this mirror. That is what? The aperture of the mirror. We also have the pole. The pole is the center of the reflecting surface of the mirror. You can see from this diagram, this is the pole, the center of the reflecting surface of this mirror. We also have what? Principal axis. The principal axis is this imaginary line. You can see the imaginary line. It is the imaginary line from the center of curvature to the pole of the mirror. This imaginary line here is called the principal what? Axis. Now, we have the center of curvature. Center of curvature is the center of the sphere of which mirror forms a part. Center of the sphere of which mirror forms a part. If I should complete this sphere now, you find that this center of the curvature will be at the center of that sphere. So that is what we call what? Center of curvature. We also have what we call what? Radius. Radius of curvature. Radius of curvature is the distance CP. Is the distance CP, which is distance from the pole of the mirror to the center of what? Curvature. We also have the principal focus. We have principal focus both in the concave mirror and the convex mirror. And they are going to define it both using a concave mirror and a convex mirror. Principal focus of a concave mirror is that point through which rays of light, which is about parallel and close to the principal axis, passes through after deflection from the mirror surface. I repeat, principal focus of a concave mirror is that point through which all rays parallel and close to the principal axis passes through after reflection from the mirror surface. While principal focus of a convex mirror is that point through which all rays parallel and close to the principal focus appear to diverge after reflection from the mirror. So these are the terms we are going to look into in our study of what? A curved mirror. This curved mirror we are talking about has various applications. For example, the shaving mirror we use at home, most of them are what? Are curved. We also have what? The driving mirror. You can see that the driving mirror is always curved. We can also talk about the reflecting side of the what? Or the searchlight is also what? Example of a curved mirror. And also the telescope. We use curved mirror in what? Telescope. So you can see different types of mirror, which is the concave and the convex mirror. And I've also shown you what each of them represents. Now, this curved mirror, we have both how images can be formed. Like I've told you, the characteristics of images formed by a plane mirror. There is also some characteristics of images formed by a curved mirror. And one of those examples of curved mirror is a concave mirror, which is the converging mirror. The properties of images formed by a concave mirror depends on the position of the object on the principal axis. For example, if you look at this diagram now, you find that the object is beyond the center of curvature. The object is at the back of what? Center of curvature. And look at the image is formed. Remember my definition? I told you that what? Any ray that is parallel to the principal axis must pass through the principal focus. After reflection, you can see it now. This ray is parallel to this principal axis, and after reflection, it passes through the center of curvature. Otherwise, what? Any ray that passes through the principal focus after reflection must go back parallel to the principal axis. Please note the direction of what? Arrow. For you to differentiate between what? Incident ray and what? Reflected ray. You can see that the direction of this arrow is pointing towards the mirror, while this one is what? Pointing outward. That is what? Reflection after the incident ray has hit the mirror surface. So, if you look at the nature of the images formed by this curved mirror, when the object is beyond the center of curvature, one of them is what? The image must be formed between F and the C. F here means what? Principal focus, and C here means what? Center of curvature. Otherwise, what? The image must be real. The image must be real. The image must be real. You can see the image must be real and inverted and also diminished. These are the four kinds of images formed by a curved concave mirror when the object is beyond C. We also have other images. Some of them include when the object is at C. When the object is at C, for example, we see it in your note, you find that the image must also form at what? C. So when you are now asked what are the kinds of images formed when the object is at C, you can also use this one as an example. But in this case now, the image must be at C. That is it. It must be at C. It must also be what? Inverted. It must be real. And the magnification must be 1. And what does that mean? What do I mean by magnification is when you go 1? I mean that the size of the image must be equal to the size of the what? Object. I repeat again. When you see a note, you see what I mean by other kinds of and nature of images formed by a curved mirror. So I said that if this position of object here is at C, that the images will, number one, be real. 2, inverted. 3, the magnification must be 1. That means the image distance must be equal to the object distance. And finally, it must also be what? Inverted. Now, if the position of the object is between F and C, the image will be magnified and it will form beyond this C. Is there your note? It will form beyond this C and it will be inverted, real, and then magnified. What I mean by magnified is what? The image size must now be what? Higher than the what? Or bigger than the what? Object size. We also have kinds of images formed when the object is at the principal focus. In that case, the image must be formed at infinity. Infinity, when you see your note, you will understand all these things. It will form at infinity, it will be magnified, it will also be what? Inverted. But the image will be formed at what? At infinity. Now, you can see another example I gave. When the object is between F and P. When the object is between F and P, in that case, we are going to have what? A magnified visual image. This is one use of this kind of mirror as what? As a shaving mirror. You can see that the image is what? Magnified. So, image is what? Behind the mirror. You can see it's that behind the mirror. Sorry. Remember, this is the reflecting surface of this mirror. The image must be what? Behind the mirror. The image must be visual. It must be what? Erect and magnified. Now, when we talk about all these things, all these examples are examples of what? And the properties of images formed by a concave or converging mirror. This particular one now is the nature of image formed by a convex mirror. This particular one now, convex mirror, diverging mirror. So in any case, the image must be what? Behind the mirror. You can see it's behind the mirror. Remember, this is the reflecting surface of this mirror. This is the stable surface. It's behind the mirror. It's visual. It's visual. I have told you what visual and real image is in our previous class. A real image is the one that can be caught on the screen, while a visual image is the one that cannot be caught on the screen, although it's never visible to the eye. Now, you can see that this is what? Erect. Remember, this is erect and diminished. So for every image formed by a convex mirror, no matter the position of the object from the mirror, it must possess this following what? Characteristics. So you can see for yourself how images are formed by a curved mirror. Now, because of this importance of curved mirror in our homes, like I said, if you look at a mirror of a vehicle, you can see that is a convex mirror. Now, because it can see a very wide range, it has a very wide field of view. That is what we mean by this convex mirror. That is why we use it in a motor car. We also have the application, like I told you, using a curved concave mirror as as a shaving mirror at home. So in the exam, you'll be expected to know the way you can be able to illustrate this nature of images formed by a curved mirror. I've given you 3 conditions that you must always adhere to. 3 things you must note. That whenever you are drawing a ray diagram in a curved mirror, that one thing you should know is any ray that is parallel and close to the principal axis must pass through the principal focus after reflection. And if a ray passes through the principal focus, it must reflect parallel to the principal axis. And finally, if a ray of light passes through the center of curvature, it will go backward undulating. So these are the characteristics of images formed by a curved mirror. So by now, I believe you can be able to differentiate between a concave mirror and a convex mirror, and also you can be able to state the natures and the characteristics of images formed by this curved mirror, which is the concave and the convex mirror. Now, the next thing we are going to do now is what? We are going to use some mathematical examples to illustrate what we mean by this nature of what? Images. So we are going to solve some examples under this curved mirror. Let us make use of some solved example to illustrate this characteristics and nature of images born by this curved mirror. So first example, we have an object is placed 10 cm in front of a concave mirror whose radius of curvature is 12 cm. Calculate the position, the nature and magnification of the image produced. Whenever you are given this mathematical problem, one thing you should know is that in solving this mirror's formula, we have two methods you normally use. What we are going to concentrate is what? On real is positive convention. Real is positive convention. And what does that mean? It means that every real image and object is always what? Positive. That is the image and the object in front of the mirror. Another one is what? Every visual image must have a negative focus. That is principal focus. Every real image must have a positive focus. Now, using that real is positive sign convention, we can now bring out the different variables or parameters given. From here, now we say that what? An object is placed 10 centimeter. An object is placed 10 centimeter. So, you should bear in mind that the mirror's formula is 1 over f is equal to 1 over u plus 1 over v. This is the mirror's formula. Where this f represents what? The principal focus. That is the focal length and not the principal focus. The focal length. That is the distance between the pole of the mirror and the principal focus. It is what we call the focal length. And u means what? Object distance. Object distance. We use u to represent object distance. And what we use v to represent image distance. So you can see that the formula is what? The reciprocal of what? Focal length is equal to the reciprocal of what? Object distance plus the reciprocal of what? Image distance. Or you can say the inverse of the focal length is equal to the inverse of the object distance plus the inverse of the image distance. By the time we enter into the lab, we can now practicalize using this curved mirror for you to know the practical application of this formula. Now, from the questions given, you can now see that what? The object distance is 10 cm. That is why I said that what? Object distance is 10 cm. This plus here is what? Make use of that positive sign convention. That every image, every object in front of the mirror must be what? Positive. So you can see that object distance is what? 10 centimeter. Now, from the curved mirror, we have that the radius of curvature r, which I have told you already is what? Is the distance between the pole of a mirror and the center of curvature, is given as 2f. That means 2 times focal length will give us what? Radius of curvature. In this case now, from the equation given, they gave us what? Radius of curvature. Radius of curvature. Radius of curvature. But if you look at the mirror's formula, sorry, because you see that there is no r here. And remember, if we go by this equation, we only have u. And mathematically, you can never solve two unknown in a single equation. Such thing can only be applied in simultaneous equation. But for this kind of equation, you can solve only one unknown, except you get the answer in terms of another thing, but in terms of another variable. So what we do now is what? We try to find a relationship that can give us either image distance or focal length. And that is what brought about this one, this relationship between radius of curvature and the focal length. In that case, I can now say that what? Focal length is equals to r over 2, which is equals to 12 over 2, which is equals to 6 centimeter. So we have gotten 6 centimeter as what? As focal length. So by substituting these values here now, we have the formula 1 over v is equals to 1 over f minus 1 over u. By means of substitution, we have 1 over v is equals to 1 over 6 minus what? 1 over 10. Solving your fraction now, you can now find 1 over v as what? 4 over 60. Remember how we got this 60? This 60 is what? The LCM of what? 6 and 10. Now, by making v the subject of the formula, because we are looking for image distance and not the reciprocal or the inverse of image distance, we now have v is equal to 60 over 4, which is 15 centimeter. So, now we have gotten the position of image. The next question is talking about what? The magnification. The magnification. Remember when we talked about P-hole camera? We were able to derive an equation using that similar triangle. As a result of the what images found by what? A P-hole camera. We were able to arrive at the relationship that what? Magnification, which is the image height over object height, can also be solved as what? Image distance over object distance. That is why I use what? V over U. But by definition, magnification, as you know already, is what? M is equals to HI over HO, which is the image height or size over object height. But because of the ratio that we derive from P-hole camera, we can now say that what? M is equals to V over U, where V is the image distance and U is the object distance. So substituting, you have 15 over 10 is equal to 1.5. So it means that by the nature of the image now, we can say that the image is magnified. The image is magnified because it is greater than 1. So it means that the image height is greater than what? Object height. That is what we mean by magnified. And finally, we talk about the nature. For the nature of the image now, we can say that what? The image is what? Real. The image is real. So from the equation given, the first thing is what? Position of the image, 15 centimeter from the middle. Nature of the image, real. And finally, the image is what? Magnified. So you can see. Now, another example is what? A concave mirror of radius of curvature, 20 centimeter, produces an inverted image 3 times the size of an object placed on and perpendicular to the axis. Calculate the position of the object and the image. So we want to use the same method to solve this. And what method did we use? We use what we call what? Real is what? Positive sign convention. And what does that mean? It means that before you can solve this, you must first of all put the mirror's formula, which is 1 over f, which is 1 over focal length of the mirror, is equal to 1 over u, and u is what? Object distance from the mirror, plus 1 over v, 1 over image distance from the mirror. Remember I told you that another way you can state this is what? By using what we call what? Inverse. For those of you that have done mathematics in SS1 from the law of indices, you find that reciprocal and inverse are the same. So you can quote this formula by saying what? The inverse of focal length is equal to the inverse of the object distance plus what? The inverse of the what? Image distance. Now, from the equation given, we are only giving what? The radius of curvature. We are only giving radius of curvature. We are not giving the image distance and the object distance. So what do you do now? It is now left for you to use that relationship between radius of curvature and focal length to get your focal length. You can't solve this like this because only one variable is given. And mathematically, you can never solve two unknown in one equation. You can only do that in a simultaneous equation. But this is just a single equation. So it is left for you to use this relation, which is what? Radius of curvature is equal to 2 times focal length. So because we are given radius of curvature, mathematically, we can answer that what? Focal length is equal to R over 2. Focal length is equal to R over 2. And our R is what? 20 centimeter. So it's now equals to 20 divided by 2 equals to 10 centimeter. This is how we got our 10 centimeter. Now, we have gotten 10 centimeter. So, using our magnification method now, since we are told that the image is 3 times the size of the object. Image is what? 3 times the size of the what? Object. If we use that our magnification method, which is what? M is equals to V over U. What did I say M represent? M represent what? Magnification. V represent what? Image distance. And U represent what? Object distance. So if we say that the image distance is 3 times the object distance, it means that the image is times 3 the distance of what? Object. So by way of division, we can now say that what? V over U will give us what? 3. So what does that mean? It means that assuming that image is 40, assuming that the image is 30, it means that the object will be what? 10. So that when you divide 30 divided by 10, you have what? 3. It means that assuming that the image is there 15, the object will be what? 5. So that when you divide 15 by 5, you have what? 3. So that is the means by what? 3 times the size of object. So because we are not given that, so we can now use what we call subject or the formula. And that means if this is the case now, if M is equal to V over U equals to 3, it simply means that what? V over U is equals to 3. So by way of cross multiplying, we can now say that what? V is equals to 3U. So we have gotten what? V as what? 3U. So we now come back to our Miro's formula, which is 1 over F is equals to 1 over U plus 1 over V. Because U and V are not the same, that is why we must substitute. And what are we substituting? We are now substituting 3U for what? V. 3U for what? V. And that is why we now have what? 1 over 10, which is the focal length, is equals to 1 over U plus 1 over 3U instead of V. Because we have gotten our V to be what? 3U. 1 over what? 3U. Which will now give us, using our LCM, which will now give us what? 4 over 3U. And our U will now be what? 13.3 centimeter. So our V now, which is 3U, will now be what? 3 times 13.3 equals to 40 centimeter. So this is what, how you can apply this what? Miro's formula to get your answers. And once you have arrived at your answer, you can now use those distances to know the real and what? Inverted image. You can also use it to know the nature, whether the image is visual. You can also use it to know the what? Magnification, if the value of the magnification is greater than 1. So my dear students, I believe that our specific objective has been achieved. That is what? How you can be able to differentiate between a concave and a convex mirror. And I told you that what? A concave mirror is the one that what? That the reflecting surface is curved inwards, like inward of a spoon. I've shown you spoon before. That inward side of the spoon is the what? Reflecting surface for a concave mirror. While for a convex mirror, the back of the spoon now is now the reflecting surface. We have also talked about using illustration or graph to show you different location and position of what? Images formed by a curved mirror, which you have been able to know. We have defined the various terms in mirror, which include what? Aperture, which I said what? Aperture is what? Is the width, AB, of the mirror. We have talked about the pole, which is the center or the reflecting surface of the curved mirror. We have talked about what? The focal length, which is distance between the principal focus and the pole. We have talked about center of the curvature, which is what? The center of the sphere of which mirror is what? Is the part. We have talked about what? The radius of curvature, which is distance between the center of curvature to the pole of the mirror. And finally, we have defined the principal focus in terms of a concave mirror and also in terms of a convex mirror. And in terms of a convex mirror, I told you that what the principal focus of a convex mirror is that rays that are what? Parallel and close to the principal axis, which passes through the principal what? Focus. It appears to pass through the principal focus for both the convex and the concave mirror. So my wonderful students at home, with the assignments I've given you, when you get your note, you see the examples and you see the assignments I'm giving you. By the time you might have finished this assignment, I believe that you are going to be able to solve any mathematical problem from a curved mirror. And don't forget that the uses of the curved mirror, you can have application of curved mirror in our car driving mirrors, in our Chevy mirrors, and also in both searchlight and the telescope. So continue to apply all the rules given to you by NCDC by maintaining social distance, washing your hands with soap and clean water, and using alcohol-based sanitizer to keep yourself safe. By the grace of God, we are all going to come back hale and hearty and give testimony for what the Lord has done for us. Thank you and remain blessed. I still remain teacher, Engineer Elias Okol. Thank you, and don't forget to stay safe. Bye.
Rosa Mística High School.